New playlist, we're going to be talking about backend development, specifically in Flask. Watu wa Django or any other framework, ama hata any other language, I'm really sorry, muniruhusu tu. So let's start from the very beginning. Your app has two sides. Kuna frontend na kuna backend. Na kama venye tulikuwa tumeongelea story ya frontend na backend, we'd say that frontend is what you see, the layout, the buttons, etc. Okay? The backend is the engine, it's the brain of your website. Okay? It's the one that is storing the data, the users, the payments, the authentication, etc. etc. API sasa ni the messenger that is used to communicate between the two, between frontend and backend. Okay, basically when the frontend wants to request something from backend, inatuma nani? API, the messenger. Okay, and then when backend wants to send back a response to frontend, inatuma nani? The API. Sawa. Now, when you're talking about backend development, utasikia watu wakisema RESTful APIs. You'll just hear that word coming up somewhere. So what does it mean? What does REST mean? Utaonanga kwanza iko capitalized. Okay, what does REST mean? Well, REST means representational state transfer. Sasa hii REST, it's not a framework, it's not a library. Sawa. It's just a design style used to build predictable APIs. Inapeanga the API structure. Okay. Now, when you're using RESTful APIs, you'll use things like get, put, posts, okay, etc. Lastly, kuna kitu inaitwa JSON. JSON ni nini? JSON ni basically the format that is the language format that is used to communicate between the two, front end na back end. Zina communicate using JSON format. So, example of the format ni hii hapa. So what the backend does before itume any data to the front end, ni eti kwanza it takes the objects, the Python objects in the code from your code or your database. Inachukua hiyo data, inai-change into JSON. Now, hii process ya kui-change into JSON format, that is called serialization. Now, when the backend now receives data, for example, from frontend, and it wants to now handle it in terms of Python objects, si lazima kwa sababu hii frontend itatuma data in terms of JSON format pia, kwa sababu simekwambia huwa zina communicate using JSON format. So when it sends back data using the format we're talking about, the JSON format, Python has to convert your JSON objects into Python objects. Sawa. Now, this conversion from JSON to Python objects inaitwa nini? Deserialization. Hiyo ingine tulisema inaitwa nini? Serialization. Okay? And that's it. Tumejua backend, tumejua API, tumejua JSON na tumejua REST ni nini.